What's going on, guys? Welcome to your stimulus update. This is your afternoon stimulus negotiation update and also your second stimulus check timeline update. Now, today we heard from Nancy Pelosi and it was very positive news regarding upcoming stimulus. So that's what I want to address in today's video. It is good news. However, as of right now, if you're asking when's my second stimulus check coming, it's not coming today. We haven't received a confirmation. We haven't received an approval. Nothing's been voted on yet. Nothing has been signed by President Trump as of yet. But it could be coming very soon, so make sure you stick around for the end of this video where I talk about the second stimulus check timeline, when we could potentially see that second stimulus check hit your bank account. So, if you didn't already hear, Democrats released their scaled back $3.4 trillion HEROES Act. They're calling it HEROES 2.0. They released this at a price of $2.2 trillion. However, some Republicans are a little bit upset because there is a clause in there for cannabis banking. There's also the SALT tax deduction in there as well. Republicans are not very happy about that. However, Democrats, on the other hand, are not completely happy and set on this bill either. Many Democrats are saying that this proposal, the price was too high. This cannot be bipartisan at $2.2 trillion. It needed to come down. But that's where it is. That's where they're starting negotiations. So we'll see moving forward how things actually turn out. What we know right now is that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin have been speaking. They spoke last night. They spoke again this morning for over 50 minutes. They have spoken for well over an hour and a half in the last few days. That's huge. Just with them speaking as much as they have been, that has shown an immense amount of progress moving forward. Now, what we know, Nancy Pelosi stated that both her and Steve Mnuchin plan on speaking again tomorrow after the presidential debate tonight, which is going to happen at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. So, if you're going to watch that, great. Comment, let me know what you think of it as it goes on. But reports, as of right now, are indicating that this could be due to Steve Mnuchin wanting to talk directly with President Trump after the upcoming debate. He doesn't want to talk to him before the debate. He wants to talk to him after. Also, another report is saying that the sides are getting closer. Here's what these reports are saying. As of right now, they're saying the two sides, the Trump administration and Nancy Pelosi and Democrats, are roughly $300 billion apart. However, they are not saying that this is $300 billion for state and local governments. They're not saying it's $300 billion for some other piece of legislation. What they're saying is that it's like $10 billion here, $5 billion there, $20 billion there, all going to different pieces. Republicans are not opposed to everything that's inside this bill. However, they are not completely in agreement with the price tag on some of these things. So, for example, the unemployment. Democrats want $600 per week. Republicans would rather be closer to $400 to $500, with a clause in the bill saying that you will not receive more than 100% of your previous wages. And as of right now, Democrats do not want to agree on that exactly. So, we will see what happens, but as of right now, we know there is forward progress. After Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin spoke this morning for about 50 minutes, Nancy Pelosi had this to say: "Our conversation was a positive one. We'll get back together tomorrow to see how we can find common ground." Now, this is really good news because as of this morning, what was reported is that they went over different things, different pieces of legislation, agreed on certain things. There were other things that they weren't in 100% agreement with, and so they're going to talk again tomorrow. And again, there is a report saying that Steve Mnuchin is going to talk with President Trump sometime tonight regarding what they discussed and what is in this new package. Now, before I jump into some other stuff, let's talk about the second stimulus check timeline, because I know a lot of people are wondering, when might I see this next stimulus check? When might I get a $1,200 check? Well, let me address that. Here's what we need to understand. as of right now, it's September 29th. Okay, what we need to understand moving forward is that the election is November 3rd. The House goes on recess on October 2nd. So we have about a month where the House is on recess. The Senate's going to go on recess soon after, if not, the same day. So what we need to understand is the whole month of October is the time where they are anticipating Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi are going to continue to have these phone calls. There is a lot of skepticism right now saying that there's not going to be a deal that gets done before the 1st of October. Well, we will see moving forward. We'll know over the next couple days whether we see something or not. But if we see a stimulus package, agreement, if they vote, if it gets passed, if President Trump signs this, we could potentially see a stimulus check before the election. Not saying everybody is going to get it, but people that have direct deposit or have those stimulus cards will see the stimulus money. We'll see that stimulus payment in their bank account on the card before the election. That's what President Trump is trying to do. If President Trump, okay, if he really wants to boost his numbers, the number one way he can do that, other than just campaigning and doing what he's been doing, doing this debate with Joe Biden tonight, the number one thing he can do is send out a stimulus check. Send out a check with his name on it. Well, that's essentially what he's trying to do, but it needs to happen before the election. Okay? It needs to happen weeks before the election, before people start voting. Okay? So we're already getting to that time where it's a little bit late, a little bit behind, but he's probably going to do it. Now, it could be an executive order, but most people are anticipating that he doesn't want to go this route this close to the election. He would rather have Congress pass it themselves. So the timeline for a second stimulus check, we are anticipating that anywhere between the 1st of October and probably the second week, okay, the 1st through the 10th of October, we were hoping to see some type of an agreement and a bill signed. So if that's the case, we should see a stimulus check anywhere between, let's say, the 15th of October all the way up to the 20th of October. That's weeks before the election. That's exactly the timeline that most people are anticipating. So again, we will just see. But no, as of right now, there's no stimulus check coming today, tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Both sides are still a little ways apart, but they could come closer together. They just need to negotiate, sit down, talk this out, and see how they can truly help out the American people. Now, many people were wondering how this new HEROES Act 2.0 would look, and Nancy Pelosi explained what exactly they did. Here's her quote that she gave us this morning. "When we reduced it, we didn't take out priorities. We just reduced the timeline as to how long those benefits would last." Well, White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow said this morning that this bill might not be $2.2 trillion. This might balloon up to $2.2 trillion because of some leftover spending that wasn't included, and in the bill, and some tax cuts that are repealed. Those were his words exactly. Now, this is a great start, but Steve Mnuchin is expected to negotiate this bill down a little bit in certain pieces of it. Now, some of the things that they're expected to negotiate with, the SALT tax deduction, Republicans are not really for that. Cannabis banking, Republicans are very upset about that. Lowering state and local funding, Republicans wanted to offer $150 billion. We're willing to go up to $300 billion. Nancy Pelosi has it at $438 billion, I believe. So it's a little bit up there. It's a little bit outside of Republicans' spending. And the other thing that Steve Mnuchin is expected to negotiate on is there's other parts of this bill that Democrats and Nancy Pelosi put in here, but they had no bearing. There was no effect based on COVID-19. So because of that, Republicans are not happy about this. Also, moving forward, many are skeptical that a deal even gets done, and they believe that there is just not enough time now. So this is why many people are a little upset, because Nancy Pelosi waited way too long to reveal a $2.2 trillion package that was essentially the HEROES Act. They just cut it shorter. How difficult was that? Why did she wait so long? The other thing is the priority now is going to be on the election, on the Supreme Court Justice seat, not stimulus. That is a huge issue for the American people. That's an issue for President Trump as well. Yes, he obviously wants to win the election. He wants to get his nominee chosen and vetted for the Supreme Court Justice seat. However, he still wants to get stimulus to the American people. And also, President Trump may move forward with another round of executive orders. If something does not happen, President Trump might look into this a little bit further. The last we heard, he had his team looking into this, see if there was any legal issues with sending stimulus checks using roughly $300 billion that the United States has at their disposal, also sending money for additional unemployment, and also doing a small bailout for some airlines. Now, if we don't hear any positive news over the next few days, then expect to vote on the House floor for this bill sometime on Friday. If this happens, then know that the stimulus talks and negotiations broke down once again and have stalled. Again, if this happens, stimulus will likely not come from a federal level until after the election. That's not what we want to see. However, that's still a very likely possibility. Moving forward, what I can tell you is that I will obviously keep you updated on everything that is going on. I'll keep an eye out for all stimulus negotiations. However, I'm going to be focusing more, especially if there's no federal stimulus coming, I'm going to focus more on more local aid, more local stimulus, more of a local level that can actually help you out and provide some type of relief for you and your family right now. Now, before I let you go, I want to leave you with something that Nancy Pelosi said today that I hope she was very sincere about. This is an exact quote from her. It says, "We're in a negotiation and hopefully we will come to a bipartisan agreement that would remove all doubt that the legislation will be passed and be signed by the president. That's my goal, that we can come to an agreement so that we can put money in the pockets of the American people." So, again, as I hear more regarding the stimulus negotiations, I will keep you informed as well. But let me know if you have any specific questions, whether it's on a federal level or more local. Let me know what your questions are. If you are looking for rental assistance, let me know where you live. I can look that up. If you're looking for some type of food assistance, let me know your situation and I will look that up. So I'm here to help you out any way I can. Do me a favor, ask your questions down in the comment section below. Do me another favor, if you enjoyed today's video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you guys on the next one.